Let's bring in the Shadow Social Services Minister, Michael Sukkar, live from Canberra. Thanks for joining us again, Michael. Just on the climate debate, why can't at least the coalition, the right of centre parties, level with people and say it's all well and fine to talk about these emissions targets and our climate action and be a responsible global citizen? Let's not pretend that we're going to change the climate. If you really believe that lowering emissions will change the climate globally, well, then you need to be talking to China, the US, certainly the rest of Asia and Africa, where all the increased energy production is going to be in coming decades.
Well, Chris, I mean, we have levelled with Australians. We're opposing this bill. We saw, obviously, the Labor Party trumpeting it today in Parliament, completely outplayed by Adam Bandt and the Greens. The Greens get their way. The Greens, in Adam Bandt's speech today, outlined a succession of concessions, supposed concessions that they got from the Labor Party. I suspect the Labor Party are very happy to have those in there. This hardwires many things, as you said, into legislation. One thing I think it hardwires in is higher electricity prices. That's why the Prime Minister today wouldn't refer, or indeed this entire week, wouldn't refer to his pre-election commitment of dropping power prices by $275. The number $275 are words that just do not leave the Prime Minister's mouth. It's not to be mentioned. So, you know, we're opposing this. It will, in my view, put at risk a number of projects, and indeed the Greens speak about some of the concessions they got. I suspect the concessions they got will mean projects in the future, whether they be mining projects, whether they be big developments, whether they be road projects in the regions, will be jeopardised now. And that's what the Labor Party did today. They capitulated to the Greens. We said before the election it would be a Labor-Greens government. That's what it's turned out to be on what the Labor Party have said is their signature commitment. So we have levelled with the Australian people, Chris. Sadly, I think this now locks in price rises for the foreseeable future again, which is why the Prime Minister's broken his promise to deliver $275 power price reductions, and that's really sad for the Australian people who are suffering under a cost of living crisis as we speak. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. I feel hard times ahead, increasingly hard times ahead. I want to get you as Shadow Social Services Minister, get your thoughts on the Labor's pledge to get rid of the cashless debit card. Are you getting representations from communities, from individuals who want this kept in place, who believe it's actually helping some families? And is there any hope Labor might change its mind on this? Well, we're getting a cavalcade of people from all of the communities coming to us saying we are now bracing for the disaster that's coming, given that Labor is looking to repeal the cashless debit card. Let's remember the communities that are on the cashless debit card were consulted, were a part of the process to establish these. And as I've said in the Parliament, Chris, there are a few times when you know the outcome of a bill. We know the outcome of this change by the Labor Party to repeal the cashless debit card is going to lead to a tsunami of alcohol and drugs into these communities, which is going to lead to the devastating consequences of more antisocial behaviour, more domestic violence, more neglected children. It's really heartbreaking. You know, as an opposition, people often think we just enjoy criticising the government. I wish we weren't having this fight, because I know the people that will be suffering will be children in these communities who are going to suffer the worst neglect, violence and, of course, the domestic violence that women in these communities will face. I just don't know how the Labor Party can live with themselves in removing the cashless debit card from these very vulnerable communities. Yeah, it seems to be the triumph of ideology over practical common sense. We'll keep an eye on that one too. Thanks for joining us, Michael. Good on you, Chris. Michael Sukkar there, the Shadow Social Services Minister, live in Canberra.